Again, good afternoon. This is Bernie Cooper. I'm the Assistant General Manager, and I'm standing in for Tony Mizuko, the General Manager, who is again on vacation this week, although I'm sure that many of you have seen him in the community. I have a special guest with me today. Uh, Mary Lou Folan is Town Clerk for the town of Norwood, and we're getting a lot of questions about the upcoming primary elections. And I thought it would be best if Mary Lou tried to address that issue, gave you some information, and because she is the expert in the town's election. She went through an election in June, the town election, uh, and I'm sure she's looking forward to the primary. So without further ado, I'm going to move aside, and Mary Lou Folan, Town Clerk.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming state primary election that is Tuesday, September 1st. Up to date, I can tell you that we've mailed out 4,298 ballots between absentees and early voting ballots. So up to today, everything has been mailed out in our office. And as far as we're mailing them out on a daily basis right now. We finally got caught up and we're mailing them out on a daily basis. And as far as returning the ballots, uh, there's a, a thing on the website that says where you can return your ballots. Both boxes in the town hall are locked and secured. There's a blue mailbox out in the back municipal parking lot, and you can put your ballots in there any time of the day. And there's a brown box in front of the town hall on the Washington Street side. Both of those boxes, as I said, are locked and secured. So ballots can be returned there if you don't feel comfortable mailing them through the post office. But I can assure you the post office has been very well as far as delivering everything to us basically on a daily basis as well too. The next thing I want to talk about is early voting, which starts next Saturday, August 22nd, and it's going to run through Friday, August 28th. And the early voting is going to be held in Memorial Hall at the town hall here. And an important note is that Memorial Hall door is the only entrance that people can enter to early vote if they want to come in person. And we are going to have, it is handicap accessible, and there'll be big signs around the town hall if people don't know where the Memorial Hall door is to get in. Early voting starts next Saturday. We're going to be here from 2 in the afternoon till 8 o'clock at night. And the early voting period on that day is going to be from 3 in the afternoon till 7 at night. That is also the final day for voter registration. The state has changed things this year, and that is the final day for voter registration. So anybody can come to register to vote. If you don't, if you do not register to vote by Saturday, August 22nd, you cannot vote in the state primary election on September 1st. The voter registration hours are going to be on Saturday from 2 to 4 in the afternoon and 6 to 8 at night. And we will be here, and that's also going to be done in Memorial Hall. So if you're not registered and you want to come in and register and vote at the same time, you can do that. The other hours is going to be Sunday. We're going to be here. We have to be here Sunday morning. We're going to be here from 8 to 12. And then Monday, August 24th through Friday, August 28th, we're going to be in Memorial Hall from 8:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon. If anybody has any questions at all, whether you're registered, if you're not registered, how to register, you can go on the Secretary of State's website. You can register through the Secretary of State's office, or any questions at all, just don't hesitate to call the town clerk's office. I have staff up there, and we can try to answer any questions at all that you might have. And we also are asking people, obviously, to wear masks when they come, if they're going to come in person to vote at early voting. Other than that, I think that's maybe all I had. Again, I will reiterate that the boxes at Town Hall are secured and locked, and the ballots they get delivered. We pick up in those boxes probably twice a day. Thank you.
Don't go away because we may receive some questions. So while Mary Lou moves aside so that we can socially distance, uh, Again, the two drop-off boxes at the town hall, they're not post office boxes. They're secure town hall boxes that we use for payments of bills and so forth. One of them, again, is in the municipal parking lot, not the actual town hall lot, but the lot next to Norwood Printing. And the other box is right under the tower, right inside the tower, but outdoors and accessible at town hall. Right, and that's on the website. And again, the only door that's going to be open is the Memorial Hall door. That is the entrance closest to Washington Street, opposite St. Catherine's. The rest of the building is closed. We are still closed to other business. The elevator is still under construction, so you will not be able to do any other business here. Uh, so if you do come in, again, use that Washington Street entrance right by the tower, Memorial Hall door. Uh, and are there any questions? Let us know. Again, you can call Mary Lou here at the town hall, the clerk's office, 762-1240, and they will answer your questions. I have seen and heard some unusual questions. Mary Lou always has an answer. Uh, if you're a Norwood resident, please come in and do voting. Call. You can't come in, I'm sorry. One other thing Mary Lou and I have discussed a great deal is the federal census. Um, the U.S. Census is very important. It's important to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and it's important to the cities and towns. Uh, our voting percentage right now is our census returns are somewhere around 72%. And that's better than many communities, but it's certainly below that of many of our neighbors who are in the high 70s or low 80s. It's very important that people respond to the census. Uh, the federal census, you can go online, just Google US Census. Uh, it's very, very important because it determines the amount of funding that flows not just to the Commonwealth, but to the town of Norwood. It affects you, it affects your kids, it affects education, it affects the police department, the school department, across the board. So we urge people, if you haven't, please do. Check with friends and family, make sure they do it. It's very important. That census does not have a citizenship question. I know there's been a lot of controversy about that. The census does not ask citizenship. So please, again, it's important that you respond. Uh, so far, Mary Lou, I think you're getting off easy. Uh, I don't see any questions right now, but if anything comes in, um, please make sure that you call. We'll call you or we'll refer people to the clerk's office. So thank you very much, Mary
All right.
Lou.
Thank you, Bernie.
All right. And I'm going to continue. Uh, this is midsummer. A lot of people may be away, but things are certainly happening within the town of Norwood. I'm going to start with the Public Works Department. Uh, Mark Ryan has told me that the roadway paving projects are well underway. I know that because I actually travel through on my way to and from work every morning. The contractor is continuing work on the sidewalks and the curbing and the ramp in the Nichols Street area. That's up between the high school and Bond Street and some of the adjacent streets. Next week, next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we anticipate that the contract will begin milling, grinding down the asphalt in that area. We'll begin working on the street, including the side streets, uh, Rosemary, Bond Street, uh, the other streets in that area. And very quickly thereafter, they will be putting down the pavement and then they'll be adjusting the castings and so forth. Uh, so that area will be under construction at the end of next week. Parking lots construction. Next Tuesday, the Talbot lot, which is the lot behind Babel's that runs from Cottage Street over to Manhattan Street, and the large parking lot at the corner of Day and Central Street, They are both getting their top coats, and those lots are going to be closed that day. Hopefully, the work can be completed in one day. Uh, but those are two major lots, and we hope that work will be able to come to a close. Obviously, there are still some other items that have to be done, not just the striping, but at the Talbot lot, there is also a new island in front of Babel's that some work will have to be done on to complete the project. Now, next Thursday, the contractor is going to start milling, removing the pavement, grinding it down behind the Norwood Theater. So that is that large lot that's bounded by Manhattan, Broadway, and East Cottage Streets. Uh, so that lot is going to be ground down. It won't be paved until the following week. So that lot will most likely be closed, not this weekend, next weekend, the weekend following. Uh, what else is going on? A major water construction project has begun. This is in the Sumner Union Street neighborhood, uh, east of Route 1. We're replacing an existing 8-inch water main with a 10-inch main, and that is going to improve water pressure in that neighborhood and fire flows in particular. And there are also going to be, so that main is going to be replaced uh, on Sumner Street from Route 1 all the way down towards Trapole Brook on Union, and adjacent water services serving the homes in that area will also be repaved. That project is going to start, and they actually started this week, and they're beginning with putting in temporary water services to maintain water flow before they actually shut down the live main and begin to do the work. So that's a major job for us in the water system. Uh, what else? There's a lot of other things happening in the community. The Recreation Department, I think many people may know that the pool is going to remain open, pause until Labor Day. Let's see, we've had over 1,000 registered swimmers, and it's going to stay open till Labor Day. And the Rec Department has also added a couple of extra traditional summer camp sessions. Most of the programs have ended or are ending this week, but there are a couple of extensions for the next 2 weeks, and that information is available on the Recreation Department's Facebook page and on its website. Uh, and one other item of note, uh, we dedicated the Lee Kennedy Room. I think those of you who watched the Selectmen's meeting may have heard that. We dedicated the Lee Kennedy Room Monday evening. It was a very small group because of social distancing, because of gathering requirements. But the tot room on the bottom floor of the Civic, which has been occupied by, once upon a time, the registry, by the Police Detective Bureau, by Public Works. Um, that's the room right close to the front entrance. It's a young tots play area, uh, and the room has been named after Lee Kennedy. I think most of you probably know who Lee is. You've probably seen her if you've gone into the Civic. She is also the motivation and the key organizer behind the Circle of Hope, and she's a very, very special person. And I think that those of you who know Lee should say hello to her on Facebook. And if you don't know Lee, just remember that she is really the organizer behind the Circle of Hope Foundation that has done so much for so many people in this community. Um, I can say that I've known Lee for a long time, and she's a very special person in this community. Um, let's see. What else? Concerts. Concerts have been. We've had concerts on the Common now for the Wednesday night concerts. The Summerfest concerts have been ongoing for over 30 years. The Sunday concerts on the Common have been ongoing for 20 years. I haven't counted them. Uh, this year we announced that we were going to postpone the July concerts, and We had hoped that we might be able to have a couple of live concerts on the gazebo, uh, but it's just not going to happen. Um, we've had a couple of people who do remember that we mentioned this several weeks ago. We've had to cancel the tentative concerts that we had scheduled, and both the organizers of the concerts in the Common Series on Sundays and the Summerfest series on Wednesday evenings had to reach the tough decision. Clearly, the outdoor gathering limits and limits on performances, even if they're outdoors, the situation involving the coronavirus simply precludes being able to safely hold a concert. So we, unfortunately, that's they're not going to happen. We hope certainly that we'll have the Sunday concerts this coming winter. It's a ways off, so hopefully our situation for all of us will be better. But we look forward to certainly the summer of 2021. Um, we mentioned the town hall briefly as part of early voting. Again, as part of early voting, only Memorial Hall is open. The rest of the building is not. Uh, we're hoping that we'll be able to pursue reopening right after Labor Day. Uh, it's really dependent upon the completion of the elevator project, which right now is on schedule, it's on budget. So we're looking forward to that. Um, so a couple of questions have come in, and one of the questions today, a press release went up on our town website, and it was also issued on Facebook, and it concerned the availability of emergency rental and mortgage assistance. And a couple of people asked uh, who was actually running the program and where is the funding coming from. And the program is actually being administered by the South Middlesex Opportunity Council, SMOC, which is an old community action agency. We have worked with them in the past from time to time, even though their official name says South Middlesex and we're in Norfolk. But we partnered with a number of other communities to submit a grant request to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And it's the Mass Department of Housing and Community Development that is actually providing the funding. Uh, there are a number of requirements. It's based on income. The press release has some of the information. So if there's an interest or if you know somebody who may be in a tough spot, certainly take a look at the press release on the town's website or on its Facebook page. Um, we hope that we can help people, uh, but the program is not being administered by us, by the town directly. It's being administered through a partnership with SMOC, South Middlesex Opportunity Council. Um, Anything new in the opening of a hospital? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Um, I think it's a very difficult process for the hospital. Um, I don't think that's anything that anybody in the Steward network has experienced, anything quite like this. They're working with their insurance carriers, they're working with their planners. Um, they have reaffirmed that the hospital will be replaced, whether it's in the existing footprint in the existing building, or whether if it's determined that a new structure has to be built, they have indicated that will be replaced. We're hoping that an emergency room can get up and running in the fall, but it's a long process. It's not easy because the emergency room doesn't operate in a vacuum. It obviously needs to have X-ray and other imaging equipment available. It needs to have resources for pharmacy and some temporary beds at least. So it's not a simple project. Uh, so we'll see. Uh, the hospital is doing its best to keep us informed, uh, and we'll do everything we can to work with them. Uh, we have another question on the flood damage remediation grant program. It's certainly running slower than we had hoped for. It's very detailed. We have a lot of information coming in from a lot of people, and we've had to do a lot of follow-up. We're trying to give people a chance to provide us with follow-up information. We certainly hope to begin mailing out notices next week. I know we had said we had thought we could try to do it by the end of this week. Uh, we're almost there, but not quite. We are going to have to rely only on the small amount of town funding that we have. We're going to try to distribute it as equitably as we can. And as I indicated, it's very, very difficult. A lot of people lost a great deal. Some of them have suffered structural damage. There are a lot of possessions, a lot of them mementos. We've had people calling us in tears, and I can understand that because I know what I have down my cellar. A good part of my life is down in that cellar in storage, a lot of memories. The program is really aimed at funding the habitation, heating plant, laundry equipment, bedrooms, structural issues, mold remediation, debris removal. But we hope that we will have that available next week, and we'll be mailing out notes to people. And I just want to say that uh, we've had a number of people working on it. I want to thank the HR department, and in particular, Monica Medeiros, who's working for us through HR, who's been assigned to this project, and Sharon Cartier and the manager's staff, who has been the email contact for literally at this point, I don't know, 2 or 3 thousand emails. Uh, she has done a magnificent job getting that information collated and printed out so that Monica and her staff can go through it and follow up. We've had a number of inspection teams go out and physically look at the properties. That process is basically complete. Um, if for some reason you didn't receive an inspection, you can certainly email the manager's website at managers@norwoodma.gov. But we think we hit virtually everybody. Um, and I think I don't have anything else on today's update. Uh, just a couple of personal notes. Uh, a good friend, Lee Leach, who is the town's caroler, you've heard him play the bells, although he's not the only one. But Lee has played the carillon. He lives in the community. He's really Norwood's first resident who ever has actually been able to play the bells. He has a musical background. But Lee is also an endurance athlete, and he finally completed the Appalachian Trail last week. He reached Mount Katahdin. He had been away for several weeks. He didn't do a through hike. He had originally had hoped to do that several years ago, but had an ankle injury and he wasn't able to complete it as a through hike. But he's done the various segments and he has now officially completed that. And I want to say congratulations, Lee. He will be playing a carillon concert at the end of this month. Uh, this coming Sunday at 2 p.m. on the Common, John Whiteside, who is the carillonneur in Cohasset, will be playing. So if you're wondering who is up in the tower playing the bells, this week it'll be John Whiteside. During the week, a number of carillonneurs may be up there practicing and playing, and quite frequently it is Lee during the week. Uh, so I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to Lee. Uh, his dream of completing the Appalachian Trail is now complete. Uh, and one other item of note, John Carroll was in Norwood being interviewed by NCM last night. He was on the Common, and John did a short interview with John McCarthy, the former town moderator, and they did an interview about John's book. And if I can remember the title, it's What Did Ted Do? Or What Did Ted Have? But it's not a baseball book. The book is available on Amazon. Uh, John has talked about it, and we had hoped that he'd be able to actually do a live book signing here in Norwood as a fundraiser for the community. And we hope that will happen perhaps later in the year. Uh, but John is in great spirits. He's a little bit put out by the fact that he's not able to circulate as freely as we all did once. He understands it. but he and his wife Penny are doing quite well. Um, and wanted to say hello to his many, many friends in the community. So it was good to see John there last night. So, and if you do see him in town, it's not a mirage. John does come out to the bank. Periodically, he comes to the cleaners. You won't see him walking the streets, but you may see him, and if you do, please say hello. So, with that, unless there are any other questions, uh, and I'm looking, and if Joe Collins in the manager's office tells me there are no more questions, I want to say thank you very much. Uh, Tony will certainly be back next week, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you again. Thank you very much.